She-Hulk.
She-Hulk? She would crush you.
It'd be worth it. Hey, welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
So, yeah, I really took this is the year for that to heart.
Oh,
where I was
no.
like, here's something. This is something that was part of a Sal comic quest that I've occasionally gone on before, like Bloodlines or Eclipso, The Darkness Within, etc. This is called Over the Edge. It's from Marvel. It is everything it implies, where it's like, whoa, this is going like over the edge.
Like they took it too far?
They took it too far.
Yeah, it's a point of no return.
Yeah, and the Alpha and Omega issues of Over the Edge are also called Double Edge, which, according to most people who were interviewed about this, they don't know why it's called that.
Is it double the length?
It's just, double the edge.
Yeah, like, why do you think they called this new imprint of Marvel Marvel Edge? Because it's so edgy. It's on the edge. Don't cut yourself on it because of how sharp this edge is.
Yeah, there's no safe edge on this. It's got double edge.
That's right. So where did this come from and why is it here and what does it have to do with me? I'd heard of Over the Edge and I'd randomly found issues related or what I thought was related to it. Like I always had Double Edge Alpha. And so I was like, what is this? And where does it go? And so over the last year or so, I've been collecting issues of Over the Edge, which I thought was an event.
Not over the hedge.
No, the CG film
Yeah.
that is beloved by all.
So what you're saying is over the years you've been edging yourself.
That's right. I have been edging myself on this book, and now we're finally going to complete it.
Is double edge double long?
It could be a little longer than your average.
A little longer. It doesn't look double, I guess.
No, and they wouldn't put the fact that it has double length in the title. That would be like reserved for a starburst on it that said double length.
Right.
Which they often did. Now, so I was intermittently picking up issues of Over the Edge. And sometimes it was Over the Edge, the event. And other times it was Over the Edge, the series that launched out of the Over the Edge event.
Oh, no.
So I'd get like Over the Edge 9 or Over the Edge 11. And I go like, okay, but like, when is Over the Edge happening? And then I pick up like Over the Edge Part 3, which is Doctor Strange 81. And I'm like, wait, what's happening? So finally I got a reading order and I'm like, oh, there's only like
There's not
6
that many.
books.
How many did you buy that aren't part of the actual Over the Edge
Like
story?
12.
Oh, God.
Including duplicates of this crap. So I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Thankfully, that does help us out because it's not nearly as long as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with all the stuff that was happening during Over the Edge.
Who's in Over the Edge, the ongoing series?
I'm glad you asked, because Over the Edge isn't really an ongoing series so much as it is a kind of tester to indicate what the Marvel Edge imprint has to offer. Now, what's Marvel Edge? Why do they have that? Well, to answer that question, we have to go back. So let's go back. Let's go back to 1994 when Marvel ousted editor-in-chief Tom DeFalco. Now, they say he resigned, but he was fired. And so Tom DeFalco's out, and rather than hire a successor and endure what they were concerned at Marvel might happen again, they were like, well, we had such a problem with like this one editor-in-chief. Let's make 5 editors-in-chief.
We're going to have tryouts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's distribute the power so that no one person can become a tyrant.
Except that now you have 5 people with exactly as much power overseeing the 5 corners of the Marvel publishing
And
line.
they're not getting along or communicating.
No, for the most part, they all kind of got along. It was just that now these people were put in unenviable positions of like power and having to work with each other. This is where the infamous quote came from this period that was like, it would be easier for us to cross Spider-Man with Superman than with the X-Men. Was with this period because of how the editors-in-chief all operated.
Right.
So they were like,
they
all
were
right.
like jealous of their little.
Yeah, of their little corner, and they were like,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to infect it because also it reflects on me as a leader.
Right.
And so Marvel Edge was created because basically they didn't know where to put these characters. And so there was an X-Men family of books, a Spider-Man family of books, an Avengers/Cosmic family of books,
Okay.
and then Marvel Edge, which was an imprint that was created basically to say, this is where like the hardcore characters go.
Like
the characters
Punisher.
like Punisher and Ghost Rider and,
Doctor
how about
Strange.
Doctor Strange and Daredevil.
I'm sorry, how is Daredevil a hardcore character?
Well, you know, he roughs people up.
Yeah. Well, he's street level and also kind of dark.
Yeah.
I mean,
He has the word devil in his name.
Danny Ketch Ghost Rider has a vow of non-murder. And yet he is considered to be a hardcore anti-hero at
Well,
this
because
time.
he turns into a skull.
Right, but like Daredevil is basically just Ghost Rider at this point, where it's like you dress up like a scary Halloween character and
you scare people.
you don't kill people. Like, what's the difference at the end of the day? One rides a motorcycle. That's
Yeah.
really it. When
Well,
it
they're
comes,
both edgy,
When you
so,
break down,
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then because Bobby Chase was made an editor-in-chief of the Marvel Edge line, and she was already editing the Incredible Hulk book, Hulk also got to be part of Marvel Edge, even though it's not even close to edgy. Although Peter David did like to push the envelope, but that was more incidental than it was by design. So Hulk also is part of it. And so they were like, let's launch this event called Over the Edge, which will debut the Marvel Edge line and will spin out into a 99-cent per issue, which was a big deal at the time because books were getting more expensive.
Yeah.
The differences are, there's an imprint called Marvel Edge. There's an event called Over the Edge, which we're talking about now. This will spin out into its own series called Over the Edge. The Marvel Edge imprint will be dissolved in less than 1 calendar year.
Okay. So there's
Oh my god, we're losing money hand over fist with these
This is a
99-cent
workbook!
books!
there's 3 separate concepts. There's Over the Edge, the event.
Yes.
Over the Edge, the ongoing series.
Yes.
And then the Edge line.
Yes, which
books.
encompasses everything under the Over the Edge.
Yeah, but Over the Edge, I guess it's like, well, these are not numbered parts of ongoing books.
Right.
Like the Edge imprint, I guess, was?
Well,
or was it? Like when they did Ghost Rider, was it Ghost Rider number 30?
Yeah.
Or were they like, no, Ghost Rider number 1?
No,
Part of the
and Punisher also got relaunched. And so Punisher got a book/Over the Edge representation. And he's the focal point of this event.
When you were reading Daredevil, per
Yeah,
se,
you just keep reading Daredevil.
you keep reading Daredevil, and
Yes.
it's not like, oh, my Daredevil is now like, I'm getting 2. I'm getting the regular Marvel Universe Daredevil and the Edge Daredevil.
No, you're
it's
just-
just the same
Yeah,
Daredevil,
you're going
and
to
it's
keep
now
reading
Edge.
regular Daredevil,
just-
but now it just says Marvel Edge in the
It
top
says Edge
left-hand
in the
corner.
top, yeah, and he's like, you get a weird issue where you reintroduced to him for no reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that's really more because there's a new creative team on the book. So
Right.
you're really just
Which
getting-
happens periodically anyway.
Which people are very conditioned
Oh
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
we always get a little recap
Yeah.
every once in a while.
But Punisher does get relaunched completely with a new number 1 and a brand new status quo.
Oh, good for him.
is there a title to it?
Punisher.
Okay, just Punisher. Okay.
Yup. Which is different from The Punisher or Punisher War Journal.
So the Edge series, was it just like it was a different character every time, or
It
it was
seemed to
crossovers,
be,
or just no rhyme or reason?
There's
to it
really
at
no
all?
rhyme or reason to me as far as I'm concerned. Like when I
Yeah.
would look at it, I'm like, what the hell am I even looking at?
Right.
Like I couldn't even really.
Is there a through line?
They,
like issue 1 to
they
whatever,
certainly
12 or
wanted
whatever?
you to think there was because of the title and the
Sure.
fact that it
It was
only lasted I think
numbered.
12 or 13 issues. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was a mess.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that's why we're only focusing on the event.
Yeah, plus you also have this extra Hulk one.
Yeah, that's a kind of postscript
Afterward,
to it.
I see.
Even though you get no closure to the story in any of the reading order for Marvel Over the Edge.
Well,
I'll
you
be
can't
happy to
have
provide it.
closure because we still have to have an ongoing line.
Yeah, well, you need to keep reading it. The whole point of this was to trick you, convince you to buy all these different fun books, even though most of them have nothing to do with the main story, which is also par for the course around this time. Like Armageddon 2001 or Bloodlines or
Why
So
can't
there-
have all these different authors,
coordinate.
No, it'd be impossible.
Well, actually, it shouldn't be impossible because they're all under your guidance now, Bobby. You're the editor-in-chief of these creators. They should be working together better than ever because, again, don't forget that Marvel is like one contiguous universe, but now we have 5 editors-in-chief, and so you're treating them like they're all 5 different universes, but you're telling the audience that they're all still part of the same universe. Which is why, like, Spider-Man doesn't show up in any of this, even though he absolutely would.
So you have a Daredevil book, you have a Doctor Strange book, you have a Ghost Rider book, you have a Hulk book.
Yep.
Where's the Punisher book that's part of the Edge event?
Right. It's canceled, and he will get a new book at the end of this.
So there's no ongoing series for him to be part of.
No, I mean, there had been, but it's over now.
But he doesn't
so,
show up in one of his own books. He only shows up as a
The
crossover
top one says
character.
Punisher Rampage. Was that a
Oh, that's
Punisher
true. It
title?
does say
Nope.
Punisher Rampage.
They just want you to know the Punisher's going on a rampage.
This is a Punisher Rampage.
Oh, it's
That's like the subtitle of that. See, this is Punisher Rampage Double Edge Alpha. This is Double Edge: The Death of
Omega.
So it's like the subtitle.
No, the book is called Double Edge.
Yeah.
Alpha and Omega.
Yeah.
And then this is just meta text to sell you the book more.
Yeah. Which they do a lot of times. They'll have a title and then like a thing under the title that's like, here's something about this issue that you're about to read. And
but
that's
nowhere
Punisher
in like
Rampage.
the order forms or in its later
you won't
cataloging
see
will you
that.
say Punisher Rampage.
Right. It's just
well,
on the
what's going to
cover
happen
of
is the
book.
Punisher's going to start climbing buildings and punching through windows and eating people.
That's right.
And destroying them.
Right.
And every once in a while, you have to like hit a helicopter, but it's impossible to time the jump and the punch right.
That's right. That would be a Punisher Rampage.
Over the Edge begins here.
Yeah.
Like they have to explain it.
I
like,
know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means. Like, what are you talking about?
Start here for Over the Edge.
They did such a poor job of even
also-
explaining what they were doing.
Because the book doesn't say Over the Edge anywhere. It's the Over the Edge event, but nowhere on the cover does it say Over the Edge. So they had to put down, over the Edge in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, but none of these ones do say Over the Edge.
Yes.
I see. This is Double Edge.
Yeah.
Sorry if I confused you.
Right.
It's actually the start of Over the Edge. Better put that at the bottom.
Yes. And at the end of Double Edge, it's like, this is beginning continued in Daredevil. And then at the end of every other book that is supposedly tying into this event, they just go, fuck you. Good luck. And I'm
You want to know what the next Edge book is? Fuck yourself.
yeah, figure it out.
Yeah, pick up a fucking... Talk to your comic book store
Yeah,
owner, or
go to your local comic book store or talk to
your
some
friends.
nerd in your neighborhood.
Yeah, someone will have it.
And they'll be
figured
like,
out.
what? I don't know. I'm not reading that.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
What?
I love it also because you could just, this is that time. You know, there's that time in Marvel. The Punisher book that spins out of Over the Edge will culminate and end with Onslaught. Like so many things do.
Oh my
Jesus.
god.
Where like Punisher has a bold new direction that totally blows. And then he just goes, I don't want to do that anymore. And then Sentinels start attacking New York like they were in all the other books. And he's like, uh-oh, what do I do about that? The answer is nothing.
Oh, I can't shoot those.
Yeah, I mean, you could, but like they shoot back. So, Over the Edge. What's the idea here? The idea is Punisher is going to go nuts and rampage through all these awesome titles that you may not be reading right now. Mm-hmm. But what would get Punisher on a rampage? Well, so Punisher is arrested, finally, forgivably, by S.H.I.E.L.D. And so S.H.I.E.L.D. is
That should not be that hard.
I agree.
It's S.H.I.E.L.D.
Dude, S.H.I.E.L.D. hunts Punisher from Double Edge Alpha to Double Edge Omega. And never do they actually capture him.
Well, they have him in chains at the beginning of this book.
Yet, seemingly.
Right.
But they don't actually. That's an LMD. But
Oh my
S.H.I.E.L.D.
god.
is
How does Frank get a life book?
They made one for him because they were like, oh, we're publicly arresting Frank Castle. He has enemies. They may try to assassinate him, which of course they do. In fact, a mob family that is all but wiped out by the Punisher has one living heir who tries to execute the Punisher during this like prisoner transfer. So S.H.I.E.L.D. is moving Punisher while they are besieged by heavily armed mob goons. Meanwhile, clandestinely, on another side of town, there's this big human-sized crate that's being loaded into a brownstone. Then it gets into the elevator, and then it goes down a hyper sci-fi elevator, and it ends up in a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility, and it turns out, after Frank Castle is ultimately assassinated by these goons, it is revealed that he's a robot, and the real Frank Castle was transferred undercover.
But he was also captured.
Oh yeah, no, he was arrested. Off panel, and I've never seen it actually done. I was like, when does this happen? What are we talking about? Who cares? And it's like, look, when we did that one Punisher story where he changes his face, let's not get into it.
Nah.
He also was like arrested and put in jail. Like that's just a status quo for Frank sometimes.
Right. Yep, it's like we got the Punisher again.
Yep. So the Carbones want revenge.
Right.
The Carbone family. And by the way, this is what's so frustrating, is like the lack of synergy in what is supposed to be one of the most synergistic endeavors by Marvel I've ever seen. The Carbone family.
It's the Carbonara family. You're mispronouncing it.
Well, you could call it, I will accept Carboni, which I'm sure they're saying, but the Carboni or Carbone family is wiped out. There's one woman in charge. And she is just like, let's get him. Yeah, I know. And so she executes this assassination on the Punisher, and you're like, okay.
Her depiction is terrible.
Oh, you mean her leopard print pants or her skin-tight tube top?
Yeah, what is she, the nanny?
Right?
Well, it is 1994.
That's true, yeah. Fran Drescher is like starlet number 1 on TV, so that's probably where they're getting their marching orders. So yeah, this is... meet Rosalie Carbone. Don't get too attached to her, not because she's killed by the Punisher, but because she just disappears after a while.
I love it because my grandmother's name was Rosalie.
Well, you know, it's the kind of book we're talking about here.
Well, I assume she's only in the book because we need a reason for that big shootout to have happened in the first few pages, which we needed so that we would get your attention.
Yes, and now that it's over, we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
So they do still want him dead.
Right.
And they do keep going after him.
Okay. But you don't really see her like pulling the strings. It's kind of just like a bunch of fights that happen.
Yeah.
I thought life model decoys were supposed to be like highly convincing.
They are, and they were.
Robots!
Yeah, when you shoot them and then you see their robot parts, then you're like, they're robots!
Right.
Couldn't you just figure out if someone's life model decoy with magnets?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
Just
like,
toss a magnet on them.
It's a non-magnetic metal.
Like you said, why would Frank Castle have a life model decoy? Like, why would they jump to the conclusion that he would have one?
Right.
You know, you'd have to like.
Well,
if you're dealing with Nick Fury, you're always going to assume at some point or another, if you've interacted with him in any way, you probably talk to a life model decoy, Nick Fury. That's just like a given.
Yeah, this is the thing.
Nick Fury came to my birthday party.
No, he did not. Nick Fury came to your birthday party.
In a world where you have life model decoys,
Yeah.
it's hard to say that whether this would happen or not, because like I would think that everyone would just be like, oh, well, any person that I see prominently displayed
It's probably a life model
could
decoy.
be a life model decoy.
Yeah.
There's no way to know. That technology is apparently ubiquitous because there are many of them.
Yes.
So like
there is in fact in this book a warehouse of Nick Fury life model decoys. And
right.
no, we don't get a sequence where they all
turn
come on and attack Frank Castle. Don't follow Frank Castle.
That would be the
cool.
only excusable way that you would capture the Punisher.
Yes.
If there were like 20 Nick Furies.
20 Nick Furies, and they're all like Nick Fury. You know, like they all have the same training.
Wait, doesn't that mean that the Punisher life model decoy should be this massive, murderous, like heavily armed and capable person?
Yeah, well, they turned his inhibitor up to 11, so he won't like just go. He'll be like, "I'm the Punisher. I've got to punish criminals." And he escapes from them and he tries to like kill other criminals. Like, no, that doesn't happen.
Are life model decoys? Do they think for themselves?
No,
like, how
they are not.
controllable
They call them non-sentient.
Okay, so they're
They
just
specifically
following like
say-
a program.
So they know that they're not real.
Yes. Nor do they seek sentience. Like they don't go like, I think therefore I am. Like I am alive.
you just
Morty.
You just kind of tell them like, I need you to act like Frank Castle. Like, okay,
No, you program it to be Frank Castle, and it's like, got it.
right.
I've programmed a Frank Castle LMD, and it will behave like Frank Castle and do all the things I need until I turn it off. But also will not like go off on its own kill crazy rampage like Frank Castle absolutely would. Which
But then it's not
LMD
really
would
going to
do.
behave like Frank Castle.
I mean, but it does in this book, so don't worry about it.
well,
Anyway,
I guess he's captured, so he can't.
exactly. Well,
He
no,
doesn't
because
have
he
a
does
gun.
free himself.
Well, that's true.
No,
Yeah.
the LMD of Frank Castle like frees himself because they had to make it convincing. But
Right.
like you made it so convincing that he freed himself and then got killed. But then that revealed that he was a robot, so it was all for nothing anyway. You stupid morons.
Yeah, like what was the point of all this?
I mean, just to
Did it succeed or fail? It's unclear to
Maybe
me.
it was to determine with what efficacy they were going to like try
Maybe.
and take Frank Castle
Yes.
out.
Like,
Is it
okay,
gonna be,
now
like,
we know-
an assassin with a gun, or are they
a
going
bomb.
to nuke the place?
Exactly. You
Oh,
never
they said
know.
like 15 guys. Okay, that's a lot. Okay,
That's a lot,
they really want to get him. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
well now I know that.
Well, and we've already transferred Frank to a holding cell.
Oh, and if they sent 15 guys and there's like a massive shootout, we'll probably take down half of them.
Exactly. And
It doesn't look like they took down any of them. They defeat Frank and the life model decoy of Nick Fury, who's
right.
also there.
Yeah.
So all the good guys are robots who are destroyed,
Yes.
and all the bad guys are fine. Maybe some of the bad guys are killed, but it's hard to tell.
we don't really see them lose.
Oh yeah, a
anybody.
few of them do get shot. This guy gets
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
But I think some of the cops die too. It's a little hard to tell. Like some of the like.
Oh, the shield
Just
agents.
general shield
But I
agents,
think all the shield agents are also LMDs.
Oh, it's a whole bunch of LMDs.
Just
That has to be so expensive.
I mean, you'd think it would have to be, right? I mean, like, you got like 6 LMDs.
Is anyone at S.H.I.E.L.D. an actual person anymore, or do you just stab it with life model decoys?
I mean,
there's no
I
way to
would,
know.
right? It's like, all right, you got Dum Dum Dugan, you got Dum Dum Dugan's LMD. I mean, at this point, if the LMD knows as much as Dum Dum, just let the LMD do it and give Dum Dum
Yeah.
a vacation.
yeah, create like 50 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, number 3's down. Send in number 4.
Yeah. Since we could just make all of them.
How could they possibly simulate the person like perfectly, indistinguishably from that person, and not also just be sentient?
Right. Right.
Like
Well,
at that, if you are indistinguishable from the person that you are being, like you are that person.
Yeah.
Like there is no.
No,
if
it's
I
just-
can't
it's-
tell
it's-
from the outside,
Yes.
how do I know you're not sentient?
as far as they're concerned, it's like it's with such like microscopic precision. It is mirroring or parroting what we would do, but it's not instinctively, reflexively.
is there a test
being
I
me.
can run to tell the difference?
I don't know.
If you can't tell the difference,
Right.
then how do you know it's not
Well,
sentient?
when it dies, you know,
it just looks like a robot.
It's robot,
So
right.
I
there's
don't
a
think it's
robot under
sentient.
there. Or when he dies and it's not a robot under there, but then you decide to bring that character back to life and say that it was a robot the whole time, that was also a robot. Like happens in this book.
It was just much more convincing innards.
yeah. Well, sometimes that's true.
Right.
But So anyway, they put Frank in a holding cell.
Yeah.
And then we are introduced to Spook. And Spook is a evil, bespectacled bad guy that was introduced in a Ghost Rider book. And he is a Machiavellian, behind-the-curtain douche nozzle who does stuff and makes things happen.
So it looks like he's talking to Nick Fury.
Oh yeah, no, he's also like not a bad guy in the eyes of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they know him and his reputation, but not enough to arrest him or to keep him far away from Frank Castle. By the way, they also make no attempt to contextualize who Spook is. So you're just like,
Does he
Spook
work for
arrives,
the government? Is he
Right?
independently wealthy?
I mean,
what?
you
He's
have to
a
assume-
government spook.
Exactly, and that's where the
I
nickname
think that
comes
it's
from.
like, oh, he works for the CIA or
Yes.
the NSA or one of them.
And of course, like
those.
Fury
Who knows?
knowing him and referring to him by his code name immediately gives him all credibility. So you're
Right.
like, okay. But you also need to know that Spook is a bad guy who is going to facilitate this whole event. So meet the characters:
Yeah.
Nick Fury, Frank Castle, Spook. I guess
Who's
Carboni,
this,
but
who's this
who
guy with
cares?
the green hair?
That's Dr. Leonard Sampson.
This guy's a doctor.
He's a psychiatrist.
Okay. Well, he is
His
a
power comes
brilliant
from his hair, too.
psychiatrist.
Yes, it does. He's a Hulk character who was exposed to gamma radiation and became the biblical hero Samson.
What?
Well, he originally his green hair, of course, indicating his gamma
he's
radiation,
Hulk, yeah,
and he's also
Hulkish.
like buff, but not green skinned. The green only affected his hair, but also it still gave him a improved physiology.
He's still strong, but not as strong as like Hulk.
Right,
He would
but-
have to be green to be that strong.
But his hair is green,
his
so
hair
he's
is
still
green, so
pretty
he's a
strong.
little bit strong.
And it used
Yeah, but
to
if
be
he ever gets a haircut, he loses his gamma radiation.
That's how it used to be, and so they changed it so now he can cut his hair if he wants to, but he doesn't because, otherwise you're kind of like, so why is he called Samson? Especially because his name isn't Samson.
Wait, his name's not Samson?
No, he named himself after Samson after the
Is he even
experience.
a doctor, or does he just call
No,
himself
he
that?
really is a psychiatrist,
Oh, okay.
though. He was a psychiatrist before.
I see.
I was a psychiatrist before. Were you a doctor, though? No.
No, you are a psychiatrist, you are a doctor. But he...
No, he dropped out.
but Doc Samson, which is his superhero name, has been tasked with dealing with the Punisher, and he's going to do some radical therapy, some what they call regression therapy.
Okay.
And so he goes there to talk to Frank. Frank immediately assumes that Samson is there to drug or kill him because he has a syringe and
Fair.
an odd elixir. So Frank immediately tries to free himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So Frank tries to free himself and fights Samson. Samson's like, I'm a Hulk character. I could beat you. And so he does, beats the shit out of him. But he also is kind of like a pacifist. He's like, I regretfully will kick ass.
Okay.
I don't want to. I'm a psychiatrist. I try
Yes.
and help
Right.
people.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I talk through your problems.
That's
But
right.
if you
exactly.
punch me,
But I will punch
help
back,
you.
or I'll hold you down.
right.
So he's like, look, we're going to get to the root of your problem because, I think you're crazy. I don't think you're an asshole. I think that there's something wrong with you. You have horrible trauma, and
Right.
you've been, living the same day over and over again, which is actually a plot point that they used in the Netflix Daredevil show. And I was like, hey. So he's like, listen, Frank, you're already you're in a secret S.H.I.E.L.D. base. You're not getting out of here. You might as well at least let me talk to you. So Frank kind of like calms down a minute and allows Samson to try his radical regression therapy.
By the way, the syringe is just antibiotics.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's just
This is a little test, and you failed.
Right,
Because you freaked out when you saw it instead of, asking a question.
Right. Exactly. You're talking
Okay,
like a
if
regular
I was
person.
in chains in a weird
Secret
government
shield
prison,
warehouse.
and someone walks in with a needle in a vial, I'm freaking out too.
That's right. No,
I would
I'm
freak
thinking-
out. I wouldn't violently attack them.
Well, if you're
I'd
Punisher,
probably
you're
try
also trying to get out.
I know,
So
well,
it's like,
yes.
look, I got to get back to killing.
I guess that's, yeah.
So after Samson calms Frank down, he goes to the grave of the Castles, leaves some roses. But Castle, of course, or anything related to him is under surveillance by the Carbones because they know that he's not dead.
So they know who his psychiatrist in this, secret prison is.
They're watching the grave because they knew he didn't die.
Oh, okay.
So Samson goes to the grave. They're like, oh, well, let's just follow him. So they do to the brownstone. Like, all right, that's where Frank Castle is. We're going to have to level it.
Okay.
So that's their plan.
To level
The building.
the building.
Yes. So,
Yeah, but they also would know that, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s there, right? Because
yeah.
they know S.H.I.E.L.D. set this whole thing up.
but they also,
you gotta
handily
take on this,
dispatched a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I
LMDs.
guess, but they have a helicarrier with, jet planes and shit.
I know.
You think you're going to beat them?
Right?
I don't
You're,
understand.
Look, I agree.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
woman has a vendetta.
That's honestly
Yes.
where Frank should be kept.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, why is he on the helicarrier?
Right? Or just make him an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and just send him places.
Yeah, just co-opt him. Except
Right.
he wouldn't.
He would if his book needs new life. Frank Castle, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a book.
Well,
That's
yeah,
true.
And you could just say, well, we'll send you on missions you would want to do anyway.
Exactly. No, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna send you on Punisher missions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's sex traffickers, there's drug cartels. I mean, you have done so many things that the CIA would also do if they had your impunity. You've gone to South America and killed drug cartels.
Right.
I'm just giving
do it
you.
again.
I'm just giving you invisibility rays and stuff.
Right.
And a flying car.
And I'm telling
I
you
kinda
which
get
ones
the
to
feeling-
do first.
I'm asking you.
Yeah.
If they did that, it would be found out where it's like, oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. is employing the Punisher.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is no longer a friend of the government.
Well, more like
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is a friend of the government, and the government is deeply immoral because
Yeah.
it's employing this criminal to do its dirty work.
Right. So this guy's really, really good at murdering American civilians.
Right.
I mean, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
So it's Black Ops anyway.
And because he's constantly, almost kind of chaotically escaping from custody, every 12 issues or so, you've just decided, if I can't beat him, join him.
Right. You just gave up on applying the law to this guy.
Just during one of his routine stays in one of our prison systems,
Right.
you just black-bagged him and then gave him a S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
He's supposed to be serving time, though.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's doing whatever he wants.
Right, which is what he was doing anyway. It's
with
not like
your
you're-
sanction. That's worse.
Yeah, you're not stopping him from going to the movies or anything, because that's
Right.
not something he wanted to do. All he wanted to do was kill people he thought were bad.
I guess that would be embarrassing for the government.
Would it at this point? I mean, would the government really be like, oh, gee willikers, I'm sorry that happened. I guess I'll never do it
No,
again.
it'd be more like admitting that you can't beat him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, I would too. I'd be
Yeah.
like, I can't beat the Punisher.
Right.
It's almost
He's
like
escaped
there's
from jail
some kind
12 times. Yeah.
It's almost like there's some kind of invisible hand that keeps freeing him from custody and just getting him on. Even if Wolverine's son cuts him into ribbons and then a bunch of monsters in the sewer put him back together, he's still gonna get back to normal at some point.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
So,
right. Okay.
so they start the regression therapy.
Right, which is what?
So they inject him with this kind of serum that allows the hypnosis to take place.
Okay.
Because
and he's
hypnosis is bullshit.
so they make him relive his
Trauma,
I assume.
And so they're going back. They're like, let's go back. And so they do, and he goes back to when Microchip was working with him. And he's like, all right, Micro, let's do this. And he's like, oh, that's not far enough. We gotta go further back. So he goes further back to his first appearance in a Spider-Man comic.
Oh, that's
When
fun.
Punisher was manipulated by the Jackal to kill Spider-Man. So we're seeing that kind of for the first time. You're like, oh, that's kind of fun. Sam's like, that's not far enough.
No.
We gotta go back to the root of your trauma. And
Right.
so while he's there doing this therapy, Spook shows up. And Spook has come up with a brilliant scheme. I'm going to have Nick Fury assassinated by the Punisher. How am I going to do that? Well, I already know that Samson is doing this regression therapy. So once Frank Castle has regressed to the point of his origins, I am going to use Photoshop to put Nick Fury in the bushes at the source where his family was killed. Actually, his family was assassinated by specifically Nick Fury. So Spook returns, and Samson never liked him in the first place. So he's just like, hey, can I like hang out with you while you do this regression therapy with Frank Castle? He's like, no, you can't. Get the absolute hell out of here.
It's deeply irresponsible for you to show up in the middle of my session.
Yes, so while they're arguing, Spook just turns his back to Frank and just shows him the photo.
Well, he's arguing with Samson?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Spook doesn't like pull rank and be like,
No.
I'm in charge, I'm telling you what to do. He just sneakily does the thing he wanted to do anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So Frank sees it and immediately like
falls for it, yeah.
falls for it. I always heard about the story as Frank Castle was tricked into thinking that Nick Fury killed his family. So I just assumed that like Frank was doing like a job for S.H.I.E.L.D. or something, or he needed to kill a corrupt S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and he ended up finding like the Castle file, and it was like some planted file that was brought in by Hydra or something. Some incriminating document that like tricked Frank into thinking that Nick Fury was in charge. No.
Oh, it's like finding Batman's files on how to destroy the entire Justice League.
This was it's just bad hypnosis.
Yeah.
Like Frank Castle is going through like a traumatic drug trip. And he's just like, so also he's regressed. So he is the Frank Castle who just lost his family. So number one, it's really raw to him. Number two, he's never been the Punisher before. And number three, he has a new mission, and it's just to kill Nick Fury.
So we're going to see the birth of the Punisher.
A
again.
rebirth of the
rebirth
Punisher.
of the Punisher.
Yeah.
With a different mission.
Yes, but
It's
but
almost
he
like
was-
a what if.
Yeah.
What if the Punisher thought Nick Fury killed his family?
Right? Or a relaunch, really.
Yeah.
So just getting a whole new version
That's
of the
true, it
Punisher,
is. Oh.
who also
wait.
acts and looks exactly like the old Punisher.
Wait. Is this going to be status quo for the Punisher for the new Punisher book?
No.
Okay.
Completely different.
Okay.
Nope, it's a completely different status quo.
Because that would be kind of cool if he's like, if it's a whole series of books where Punisher's trying to kill Nick Fury.
Just get Fury.
Or
Nope.
just go against the government or S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, no.
Damn.
But
And like all the other heroes had to take him down.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
the Daredevil book, the Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange.
that's
all
what
of
this book is. This book is that Frank Castle's trying to kill Nick Fury, and then the other heroes are like, uh-oh, except like for Doctor Strange and really Daredevil and the Hulk. They're all like, what? And then the book's over. So Frank now thinks that Nick Fury killed his family, and he is freaking out. And while he's freaking out, the Carbones launch their offensive to kill Punisher.
Okay.
And they drop a
okay.
bomb on the building, which crashes through the roof and all the stories of the brownstone until it finally goes off and blows up the bunker. It's like a bunker blaster.
Oh, so they accidentally free him.
Yes. So Samson saves Punisher from death,
Okay.
but now Frank is like, what? So then he escapes from the wreckage of the bunker.
Is he still under the hypnosis?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Carbones have a cadre of goons who are like, oh, Frank's still alive, open fire. Frank is like, oh no. While they're shooting at him, he starts to relive the experience of his family being killed. So he's like, these are the goons that like were shooting that caused the crossfire that killed my family. So
Right.
he starts attacking them, but he's using like old military terminology in his attempt to disarm and kill them.
Okay.
You know, as opposed to like what he normally does, which is similar but not specific.
Right. So it's just implying that it's just showing you he's regressed back to when he was closer to having been in the military.
Exactly.
Yeah, when he just
like,
got out
fresher.
of like
Yeah.
the war.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The war.
Right?
Okay.
So a spectacular action sequence erupts in which Frank Castle kills like a dozen people. And then he's like, okay, I gotta go get Nick Fury now. And so he gets stopped by like a random guy who thinks that they're shooting a movie.
Right,
And
because he
so-
sees a guy with like an Uzi.
And all these dead people.
Right.
He's like, whoa, what movie is this? So then Frank gets in and like they leave. And so Frank ends up talking to that guy, and that guy admits that he's a criminal, and so Frank kills him.
Okay. So the Punisher is born.
Yes.
Again.
Reborn.
Wait, but he has no prejudice against.
No, he does.
Well,
because,
he
like,
does. It's just also
Fury
Nick
killed
Fury.
them, but also there were like...
but there were goons there too.
Exactly.
They're like criminal goons or
yeah,
something.
it really all falls apart.
It's like it's like the government hired the mob to kill JFK,
Right.
Like that's organized crime plus the government.
Exactly.
They're both bad.
Like,
so now he's a
Fury-
vendetta against both.
Right, like, no, the mob still shot his
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
But Nick Fury was in a bush with a kite going like,
Yeah. Nick Fury was also there. So like he's now on the list.
Yes.
But it's the same list, just with one more guy on it.
Crime plus Nick Fury.
Okay.
But he also had a kite, so like Mary Poppins is involved somehow.
The picture's hilarious.
Because there was a guy with a kite in the original picture, so he's like, well, I just got to move Fury's face from like a party onto that guy's face.
Who was the guy with the kite?
Some guy with a kite.
Oh, but that guy wasn't part of it.
No, he was just some guy in the bushes.
So
With
why
a
would
kite.
Nick, I guess because Nick Fury's holding a gun and looking menacing.
Yeah.
Whereas that guy was just a guy with a kite.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't think that he killed your family, but this guy.
But clearly this guy. Well, it's
Wait,
like,
look at
what's
him.
Nick Fury doing here?
Did you
Yeah,
ever
it's very
compare this to
suspicious.
like the original picture? Was there a guy with a kite?
First of all, there is no original picture. Like, the original picture is revealed in this book only. But, yes, there's a guy with a kite.
Okay.
So this is a reference.
It's
To the original issue.
No,
where that
it's
happened.
in here. You can see it. Like, you'll
Yeah,
see.
the only picture is in here.
Yeah,
the
but
only
if I went
times-
back and read the issue where this happened,
There's no guy with a kite.
There is no original issue where this happened.
Oh.
Like, in Punisher's first appearance, he already is the Punisher.
it's just flashbacks.
And if they ever flash back to
Okay.
it, this doesn't exist.
No.
No, okay.
Like, where would you even get a photo?
So what is the kite then?
It's
What's the deal with the kite? It's a very specific.
I think it's like him kind of being incognito. Like, I'm in the park, I have a kite.
I think it's because
And I'm dressed
it
like
draws
frickin' Nick
your
Fury.
attention to it. Like,
Right.
it's inconspicuous at first, but when you Photoshop Nick Fury in, you're just like, wait, what's this guy with the kite? Oh my god, it's Nick Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and he had a kite. Like
Yes.
Punisher had a kite with him.
Yes.
And then I guess the kite crashed.
Yep.
And then this guy's like, hey, your kite.
Yeah.
And then someone took a picture of him, and that's the picture they used.
That's right.
So it's like, oh, that's my kite.
Yes.
I know that picture is from there. That's how he
Exactly.
can tie it. That's how he knows that
how he links it
photo's
to that
related
moment.
because
Yeah.
he was remembering flying the kite
Yeah.
a second ago.
And I know that bush anywhere. It was Central Park.
Okay, that's why there's a kite. Okay. Yeah, because otherwise it's just a picture of a guy in a bush. Like, what makes you think that has anything to do with your family?
Yeah.
Well, that's my kite.
That's my kite.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of all look the same, but
Yeah.
okay. But it was also he was hypnotized.
Yes.
So that it doesn't have to be logical
Nope.
because he was in a state where he was receptive to suggestion.
Exactly. And
Okay.
it's like made more, real, raw, and
Because it's like it's happening right now.
Because it was also injected.
And he was
he has a special
he's under
serum
the
in his
influence.
veins.
I love this idea that they have a picture of Nick Fury from a party
Yes.
where he's smoking a cigar, grimacing angrily and yet creepily,
Yeah.
clutching
and
a
holding
thing.
a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the picture from the party, by the way, but he is now. So anyway,
Oh, they photoshopped the gun in there too.
yeah. So Frank kills the Good Samaritan that lets him in his car.
But who was the
Whoa,
criminal?
you say Good Samaritan. I say he's a criminal.
Well, he is a
because he
criminal.
says he's a
what
criminal.
kind of criminal?
He drinks and drives.
Did he ever kill anybody?
He's like in a school zone or something.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
So he
is-
could have. So he
Is the
deserves to
guy
die.
in the car wearing a Punisher outfit?
Yes.
Yep.
That's another little F you to Punisher fans where he's like, oh man, you're the Punisher. You're so cool. I love you.
and I'm a drunk driver.
And I'm a drunk driver.
Yeah, nice. Little kids have to cross the street in this town while vermin like you drive around with a load on. Kills him. Wow.
And it's great because he
That
kills him,
is
right? And you're like,
unhinged.
whoa. But then he'll take the car and he's like, oh, this blood's on the windshield. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, it's over the edge.
It is over the edge.
He's taking him to the limit this time.
Yeah. But the
And he
reason
wears his shirt. That's why he has it.
Yeah.
That's why he
That's
has
why
the
he has
Punisher
the
shirt.
shirt,
So
that
despite
you
not
get it.
knowing who
Yeah.
the Punisher is.
Well, I'm not buying a book with Punisher in it to not get.
Yeah, I gotta see him in the shirt.
Okay,
The
if it's
Memento
Frank
Mori.
Castle just killing people with a gun,
That
it's
looks
still
like a
the
guy.
Punisher.
Yeah. looks like a guy.
He's gonna think of the same logo that he thought of the first time when he became
That's
the Punisher.
true.
So why wouldn't he just
Make it?
independently make it?
That's true. That's true. Well, this saves us some page real estate.
right. We don't have to show.
Otherwise,
them
you're gonna
coming
get
up
that
with
Dolph
the idea.
Lundgren movie where it's just a guy on a motorcycle killing people for no reason, and it's coincidentally called The Punisher.
Well,
Which thankfully I've never seen.
I've seen it. It's actually really fun. No, it's worth seeing.
Hmm.
It's not good, but it's also not unwatchable.
Okay, so it's not
right.
like B movie terrible.
No.
It's just B movie fun.
It's like 80s schlock. It is a absolutely forgettable 80s movie, but also it's about the Punisher. And it is really fun to watch. So like, here
All right,
you
so
go.
now he's the Punisher.
Punisher.
Again.
Yes, but now he's going to kill Nick Fury.
why is this over the edge? Like, I mean, it's extreme,
Because
but it's
Punisher's
not.
gone over the edge.
Oh, he's gone over the edge.
Well, I mean, that's the way that they explain it, but yes.
It just seems like pretty run-of-the-mill comic book stuff to me.
Right, but he is now like, wah! Like,
The premise is over the edge.
He's pretty unhinged.
It's very
yeah.
far-fetched.
I mean, like the way he's depicted on the cover is their way of saying to you, like,
I mean, look at it!
this is a more unhinged Punisher than you've ever seen.
Than you've ever seen before. I mean, like, a little bit, I guess.
Right,
I mean, we
like-
do have the scene where he wipes blood off the windshield, which is like the
like-
most extreme graphic thing in here, which is not even that graphic.
No, it's something that he would absolutely do anyway, but because you're seeing
Right.
it here, you have to imagine that it's also super extreme.
Well,
awesome.
the blood's red, which I don't know.
rare.
Maybe that was a recent development in '94.
I mean, sometimes it's red. It's just like we're really exploring the Marvel Edge space that we have to work with.
No comics code,
Yeah.
so
No. So we can get away with a lot. We're not going to do any of it.
No.
but here
We're not
it
going
is.
to curse.
Hell no. That'd be scary as hell.
Okay.
So Daredevil Man Without Fears Chapter 2, J.M.D. Mateus is taking over the Daredevil series. Matt is at this point still wearing his rad 90s Daredevil armor, which he absolutely can't see and has no idea what it looks like. But it is pretty rad. Okay. The black armor that they call it, I think it's awesome. I remember
that's pretty cool.
being a fan of it back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't like it as much as I like his red suit, but still, it's fun. They're also getting rid of it in this book.
Well, yeah, the cover he's in the yellow.
Yeah, which completely is a lie, but also not. Like, it is, like, what are you
Okay.
doing? Like, why did you give it away?
Interesting.
Because it's the book where he gets rid of the black armor.
Right.
That's how they're selling it to you.
Except,
Oh my God, he's wearing the yellow.
Yeah, except for the fact that he will wear the black armor when he appears in later chapters of this event.
Well, they forgot.
As far as DeMatteis is concerned, he's not wearing the black armor anymore.
Right.
But as far as everybody else is concerned, he is.
Well, that's the
I
model.
love that
They're
other
on model.
authors in Marvel just don't bother to read the other books.
Nope. Well, or they don't know when they're coming
Well,
out.
they're writing it at the same time,
Yeah.
so they don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Like the art that showed him in later issues in the black suit was probably being drawn before this issue was released.
Yes.
They could communicate with each other, but why would you think to communicate like every single detail? Although
You need
if
to
you
know what they look like.
Yeah, if you change something about how the character appears, maybe you should tell the other writers just in case they want to have him appear in one of their books.
Especially if chapter 2, the cover of it is him wearing the suit he will wear after this issue comes out.
Hey, just a heads up. Daredevil loses his hand in this issue. I'm not going to tell the other authors that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does he
Our
still
little
have his hand
secret.
back? What are you talking about? It's Daredevil. But he loses a hand in my issue.
Oh, oops. It's like...
Oh, did I not tell you?
It's so funny because Daredevil goes through like a classic J.M.D. Mateus transition where he's like, oh, I'm haunted by the ghosts of my past and I need to reconcile the two halves of myself, which is like every story he does, which is not necessarily complaining. I'm just saying that's a hallmark of his books. Just like Scott Snyder will always open a story with a long, boring history lesson that doesn't matter, but it also relates directly to what's happening in the action that follows it. But Daredevil is dealing with his demons. We've actually done Fall from Grace, which is the debut of this suit, and the weird status quo of him like abandoning the Matt Murdock mantle and then becoming Jack Batlin, which is a pastiche of Batlin Jack Murdock's name, his father when he was a
Right.
boxer.
Right.
And no one puts that together because he looks exactly like Matt fucking Murdock and is called the thing that his dad was called, who was a famous boxer. But whatever. So he's like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? I'm being Jack Batlin. I'm wearing armor. I'm being extreme. Like, he beats the shit out of like this young criminal, and he's like, why'd I do that? Like, I could have just scared him and gotten the information I needed. Like, but I beat the crap out of him. Like, what's my
Because
problem?
you're a violent man.
Yeah, and he's like, but I don't want to be. So then he runs into Nick Fury, and Nick Fury is like, hey man, like, listen, you're having a hard time. Punisher's trying to kill me. You want to just like go get like drunk somewhere? And then they have to deal with the Punisher. What's Punisher up to? He's like, I hate Nick Fury, so I will seriously wound Nick Fury's son, Scorpio.
His son's name is Scorpio?
I'm gonna say Michael, but like he goes by Scorpio.
Not Scorponok. Who's this ghost?
Who's the ghost?
Nick Fury's talking to a fucking ghost?
Yeah, it's the younger version of himself that used to live here.
It's like the innocent version of him.
That's right. That's dude. You could be describing 3 different J.M.D. Mateus Marvel comics if you're like, who's this ghost?
Who's this ghost?
Who's this ghost?
Who's this
It's
ghost?
it's the spiritual projection of his former self.
I see. And what does he have to say to his spiritual projection of
He doesn't really talk to him. Like, Nick talks to him, but like the ghost doesn't really talk back. The ghost speaks in what he used to say when he was that age. He's like, let's go! Oh, we're gonna live forever!
Sure. Right, so he's following himself around.
Yeah. Like he's
but
going
he
through his
can't
old
interact.
haunts. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, look at me. I was jumping around on fire escapes,
Yes.
and it was a simpler time as he's seeing the thing that he did then happening before him.
See?
Like it's fucking A Christmas Carol. Yeah. Except there's no ghost showing him around. He's just doing it himself.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Okay. To what end?
You know, DeMatteis was told you have to do a tie-in to this stupid thing.
Right.
And you have to make it
like-
relevant to what's happening with Matt. So Nick's like journey of self-discovery will also kind of like be a reflection of Matt's own pursuit of a new identity.
I see. Okay.
So, you know, Frank shoots Scorpio earlier in the book and then beats the shit out of him and then strings him up in Nick Fury's old haunt, like in a playground.
Okay.
So that when he attacks Nick Fury, he's like, hey, Nick, you killed my son. How about them apples? And then leaves. So then Nick's like, what's that mean? And so when he finds his son, like his son is dead. And he's like, oh, my son, no.
Right.
At no point in this book does Nick Fury is aware that Frank Castle's after him. Because no one ever says that Fury is the target.
No.
Frank says it to himself alone in the car.
Yes.
So the fact that in this next issue, Fury's like, oh, I have to hide out. Frank's after
No, he's not
me.
hiding out. He's just walking around.
Yeah, but he does acknowledge that
Frank is hunting him?
Frank is hunting him.
Yeah. Well, because I think Samson debriefs.
Some stuff happened off panel.
Yeah, no, they refer to it later, but like
Spook is like trapped
Spook
under some rubble,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
probably Fury talks to him. And
Yeah,
he
no.
gives up what he did. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's no mention of like, oh, he's after you or he's confused. Samson just says he's after his killer.
Frank Castle escaped. He's been regressed to at the time of his murder. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Talk about a hit list you don't want to be on. And he's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, I'm going to be on that list.
So maybe.
But he never knows that it's Fury.
No, but they tell him later.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he finds out in this book because the narration here says Castle's on the loose somewhere, crazier than ever. It doesn't say that he knows he's trying to kill.
No, I think that
him, Nick.
when Frank brutalizes Fury's son and then talks to him, that's when
he finds
Fury
out.
finds out, like, oh, I'm in his hit list now.
Right. So at this point, he's just
okay
ruminating on the fact that Punisher escaped.
Yes.
Not that he's being hunted. He
That's
doesn't
right,
realize
that's right.
that yet.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Now, most DeMatteis characters will, at some point, invariably, for no outside reason, wander the streets of their old haunts and reflect on who they used to be.
Right. Okay. All right.
Well, those are the ghosts of New York, I guess.
Well, their own ghosts.
So we got a three-way fight here. We got, or not a three-way, but just it's Daredevil and
Fury
against Punisher.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt gets one in the arm,
Oh boy.
which allows Punisher to escape.
I guess that armor didn't really do much for him.
He shoots him in the arm.
It's
I'm like, what are you
direct
doing?
hit on the armor.
That's the only place it should not have gone
What's
through.
the
and it
point of
does.
the armor if it doesn't stop these bullets?
That might be his
Well, it's
moment
just
where he's
padding.
like, okay, so there's no
I know it's painted like metal, but it's not.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
way too
it's
heavy.
an old
It's not a
cosplaying
good
trick.
idea,
I just had good shading.
I just thought people would not even try to shoot me if they knew I had
They
armor.
saw the armor.
Yeah.
Which
I'm
is,
so scary, it deters the bullets.
yeah, exactly.
Right. And this is
You
when he
can't
finds
aim
his
straight
son.
if your hand's shaking.
Okay.
Gives me the edge. Edge.
Don't forget the edge.
So Daredevil uses his radar sense and realizes that Scorpio is not dead, and so they like evac Scorpio, and also
I'm sorry, Frank doesn't kill Scorpio?
no, it looks like he does, and Fury thinks he is dead, but then Matt reveals that he's not, and Frank has a note on Scorpio's body that says like, I didn't kill him, but I will kill you, basically.
Yeah, he says, unlike you, I don't do families.
Yep.
Right. I could have, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm better than that.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Okay, this is barely about Daredevil.
Yeah.
What does this book have to do with Daredevil?
Well, Daredevil decides after that brutalization of that young criminal earlier in the book, when he's like, I'm too scary, what am I doing? He changes his costume from the armor to his classic yellow suit. And he changed his tactics to be a little less scary and brutal, which is just in time for him to be under the Marvel Edge banner.
Yeah, I'm gonna not be as extreme.
Yeah. What? Marvel Edge!
Okay, that one doesn't really add. Moving on.
Nope.
Also, his decision, that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the ongoing adventure of Frank Castle and Nick Fury.
Not at all.
That's
And
kind of
he's
something
just
that happens
in it.
in the middle.
He does do that, and then when you see him again, he'll still be wearing the old armor. So either that moment is after the event.
Well, yeah, it's only at the last page where
So,
he puts
like,
on
let's
outfits.
just
So
say
it's
that
like, well,
takes
this
place
could
right
happen.
after
This is like
everything.
several days later.
Yeah. Even though it clearly isn't.
Even though it definitely is not.
So, that happened.
Okay.
This is one of these episodes.
I mean, these are like tie-in books. I mean, these are essentially tie-ins.
The Doctor Strange one we're not going to talk about. Because it is not about that.
Okay.
The Doctor Strange book it's Doctor Strange. We've actually, you guys have talked to Tiffany about this because Doctor Strange
But the hoary host of Agatha.
Yeah, at this point, Doctor Strange was co-opted by the Vishanti into fighting a magical war that they say will only last like a couple weeks, but it actually takes like multiple lifetimes or whatever. But in real time, it's like only a couple weeks.
Okay.
In that time, Doctor Strange's body is like worn and tired because it's like astral form is the one that goes out. So he looks like Alan Moore, which is definitely a reference. Like Ellis is definitely making fun of Alan Moore by having Doctor Strange look like him in an alley being like homeless and gross. But this whole book is just how Doctor Strange gets his groove back. Because like after being kind of like bamboozled by the Vishanti, he's like, screw that form of magic. I'm going to tap into the syzygy.
What's that?
What is that? It's like magic from like the cosmos or something.
Oh.
And Doctor Strange is even like, I bet no one has ever thought to do this, so I'm going to name it. So he
Okay.
names this new form of magic. It's not chaos magic.
I was going to say, is it chaos magic?
No, it's something else. It's something like
Damn.
catastrophe magic.
What?
I don't think you should be using that.
Yeah. He also has his cloak of levitation like weaved into a dope coat.
Oh, so that's the code of limitation.
Yeah.
Does it still fly?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Also, while he was gone, he allowed this woman that Wong loved to die. So Wong shows up and he's like, I'm going to kill you because you let my girlfriend die.
What?
Fiance die. And Doc's like, oh, I'm sorry, Wong. But listen, normally I wouldn't be able to bring her back. But like because I'm using catastrophe magic and I don't care about like being beholden to any like overseers.
Morals or values?
I'll just bring her back to life. Let's go. And he's like, ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know if I trust you anymore. And I'm like, what?
It sounds like some Pet Cemetery shit's going to happen here.
Meanwhile, Nick Fury appears in this book, and he is stopped by some mooks who are like, we want to kill the Punisher. Oh, it's the Carbone family.
Right.
They're like, now that like you're out in the open and Punisher wants to kill you, you're going to lead us to the Punisher so we can kill him.
Right. Otherwise, he'll kill
Yeah, we're going to
you
use you as
first.
bait, I guess.
Yep.
Right.
So then they are flanked by more S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and he leaves. And that is the only tie-in to the event. The rest of it is a little like setup so you understand what this book is going to feel like.
I'm sorry, Punisher's not even in this book?
No. That's correct.
That's awesome.
But we do get to see that Doctor Strange has a cool room made of flesh.
Nick Fury doesn't even interact with Doctor Strange.
No.
No, that's just a thing happening on other pages.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, I got to put some stuff in here.
This is the worst kind of tie-in
I know.
connection
Yeah.
ever.
But I'm not going to tell you what happens in the issue because who cares?
because it's unrelated to
That's fair.
But I bet Tiffany would love it.
It's that those flesh rooms are horrible.
Yeah. He's like, check out my new study, Wong. You might find it unsettling. It has been constructed from flesh. I found it comforting or womb-like. Doc,
Really? What kind of womb has like multiple mouths in it?
Right, well, at least one. And it's like, look, Doc, I'm assuming you're not a doctor of psychiatry.
He says at night it sings.
It's a good line.
Oh, God.
But, like, don't go in there
I know
ever
what he put
again.
those mouths in there for, and it wasn't singing.
Doc runs into this, like, crazy half-faced lady who also can tap into catastrophe magic. Oh, I wonder how that turns out.
I see.
You don't want that.
Put it with a pile.
The flesh room, that's like a manifestation of like he shouldn't be doing this, right?
I mean,
It's
it should
catastrophe
be.
Magic. It's like, now that I'm unchained and can do whatever I want, I've made this room out of flesh.
It's like, that's not a good sign that you're doing well.
No, this is Marvel Edge.
Marvel Edge.
Doc, I know a good therapist here. Please give him a call.
His name's Doc Samson.
He works wonders.
Yeah. If Frank Castle any indication, I'll get you the group rate.
Okay, moving right along. Ooh, nice ad for Comic Zone.
Yeah, on the Sega Genesis. Ghost Rider
What
is in
happens
this
to
book.
Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider beats the shit out of Scarecrow. No, not that Scarecrow, but also, yeah.
Another Scarecrow?
Marvel has their own non-powered Scarecrow.
I mean, technically our DC Scarecrow isn't really powered.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They're
Right.
both just guys in bags on their heads. So anyway,
This was just a thing for crows, though.
Fury and Ghost Rider have an unrelated adventure in a previous Ghost Rider story. And so this wraps up, and then Fury runs into Spook, because Spook is actually a Ghost Rider villain.
Right.
And so Fury's like, hey, Spook, bleh, because I don't know that you are the guy who set up the whole Frank Castle's trying to kill me thing.
Right.
So I'm not going to just kill you or whatever.
Sure.
But we also established that, like, Spook wants to stop Ghost Rider because he's a Ghost Rider villain. And so...
Right.
Oh, right, my original purpose.
Right, I hate Ghost Rider.
Yeah, exactly. So Spook sends goons to kill Ghost Rider,
Okay.
and then Ghost
How are
Rider
they going to
doesn't
do that?
die.
He's Ghost Rider.
Exactly.
And it doesn't work.
Right.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. Who's this woman?
And once again, Punisher has no appearance?
No, he's in it. He's in it. Oh, who's the woman? That's Lockhart. Lockhart is an agent working for S.H.I.E.L.D. who is also a traitor. We only know that because she is the betrayer at the end of the story. And you're like, what? Who is Lockhart again? What does she have to do with
She wasn't
anything?
introduced until like the third book.
Well, maybe she was in a Ghost Rider book. I don't know.
Right.
All I do know is
Oh, weren't you
Lockhart's-
reading Ghost Rider this whole time?
Yeah, Lockhart is a beautiful woman who works for S.H.I.E.L.D. who also is a bad guy.
How many double agents are inside S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because this is ridiculous.
I mean, there must be like
now.
1,000. There's got to be a
mean-
couple Skrulls running around, plus some Hydra guys.
The only purpose of S.H.I.E.L.D. is to like be a secret organization that has like secret organization stuff happen to it. And what is like stuff that happens to secret organizations? There's moles.
Exactly.
That's one thing. That's one of like 3 things that can happen. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna happen a lot.
Yeah. So Spook sends assassins to kill Ghost Rider in his Danny Ketch form. And when
I
he
see.
goes to do that, Punisher kills the assassin instead. And Punisher teams up with Danny Ketch, unknowing that he is actually Ghost Rider.
So he just stumbles upon this assassin.
Yeah.
Like just luckily.
Well, he's skulking the rooftops looking for Nick Fury.
Right. He's like,
Well,
hey,
there's
who's
this
that
person
guy?
in like a black leather again.
With a
Yeah.
gun. I'm okay,
He looks like an
let's-
assassin.
Yeah, gimp mask.
Yeah, that's
Got
right. Yeah. I mean, they're all wearing them. So then Danny Ketch Ghost Rider's out. And then he goes and like follows the trail of those goons that were going to kill him. One of them, killed by Punisher, but the rest of them are going to be attacked by Ghost Rider. But Spook is among them.
No. He went to do his own dirty work,
Yeah.
kind of. Okay.
So Ghost Rider's like, you son of a bitch. I'm just going to pen and steer you.
Oh shit. Oh
So
shit.
He does. And Castle is like, hey, who's that? And he's like, oh, this is Spook. He's a dipshit. And Punisher's like, why didn't you kill him? He deserves to die because he is just as bad as the rest of them. And Ghost Rider's like, because I don't kill people.
Not allowed.
Not in Marvel Edge.
Right. I just
so-
pen and stare them, which is
Just as bad.
the
Well,
fate worse than dead.
it's actually not nearly as bad. It's just like if you... Sometimes it's cleansing, actually.
Oh.
Like
It can be very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or
Wow, I
sometimes,
was a bad person.
sometimes it will actually expunge the programming that Doc Samson inadvertently gave you.
Yeah, but Danny Ketch specifically says right here, I won't kill you, I'll do worse.
I know. But also when he does... Well, maybe
But it
he's
wasn't
like...
but it wasn't worse, you just
Well, no.
Well, it's worse because you have to live through it.
Yeah. Well, with Punisher, he's like, well, if I use my penance snare, I can actually like burn the like programming out of Punisher, so he'll just be reset. So he penance snares Spook, and then Punisher's like, you got to kill him, and he's like, no, I won't do that. So then Punisher just shoots Spook.
It's very unclear what's happening.
There actually is an online entry about Spook, and the only thing that it says about Spook is the art is inconsistent about how he dies.
Yeah, because
He definitely is shot in the head by Punisher
Yeah.
while he's enduring the penance snare.
Don't
But
worry,
then-
it's a BB gun.
but then
it stings a
Punish-
lot,
Yeah,
but it's not lethal.
Look at the brains coming out of the other end.
I know, but then Punisher says,
It's a strong
that's
BB
it.
gun.
Yeah.
Finish him or he'll be back. It's like, you just shot him in the
You
head. What do you
killed
mean
him.
finish him? He's like, yeah, but I said that you need to
Yeah.
finish him, which means he didn't die.
I wonder if the dialogue was different.
Yeah, I
Where he's
think
like,
it was.
Frank killed him. And then they argue about how Frank killed him.
Yeah.
But then they went, no, you can't kill him because that's too edgy. Then, after they finished this page,
Mm-hmm.
they realized, oh, wait a minute, we can kill him because A, we have no plans for Spook anymore, and B, we're in Marvel Edge now. So, he actually could have killed him. So, Frank can shoot some more at Ghost Rider, and we'll say that those shots killed Spook.
Right.
Because then
Okay.
Frank like throws a grenade at him and then leaves. And then Ghost Rider finds Spook and he's like, no! And Frank had time to pin a note on Spook that says, "You're next, Fury." You know, remember that?
What?
Remember the Nick Fury plot?
Right.
That's happening too.
How do we even know that Nick Fury's going to find this body?
Well, because he's Spook. Nick Fury's going to personally
Why does
investigate
Punisher even want to kill Spook?
that, right? So anyway,
Frank, isn't he the guy that showed you that Nick Fury's the one
remember,
who killed
he
your
didn't-
family?
He didn't go like, look at this. He
Right.
just had it behind his back.
Right. Don't you think that's a little weird?
I would, but remember, he's also in his like crazy state.
And also, it is unrelated to the fact that he's there right now to kill Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
That is an unrelated thing that's
Completely.
happening.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it is weird.
Yeah, it's very weird and stupid. So moving right along, then we get to the Hulk chapter, and let's skip ahead.
Okay.
Basically, Hulk's involvement.
What kind of Hulk are we doing right now?
Oh, it's Banner in Hulk's body.
Okay.
It's Smart Hulk.
Smart Hulk. Okay.
Hulk has had a tumultuous relationship with S.H.I.E.L.D., to be sure. And so his relationship with Fury is also kind of strained because sometimes S.H.I.E.L.D. tries to arrest him and sometimes
Right.
it works with him. And so, you know, he can never be sure about what the deal is with S.H.I.E.L.D. or Fury for that matter.
Sure.
Frank finds out about a drug cartel member because it's a Punisher book now. And so Frank's like, I'll kill him. And the Hulk is involved because Hulk is trying to get that guy to, like, go away. He wants him to sign a confession
Okay.
and, like, give himself up to the authorities. And so that guy won't do that until Punisher shows up at his house. Like, you can hear people going like,
Oh my God!
Punisher's downstairs! He goes. And then
he's
Hulk's like,
unstoppable.
and Hulk's like, oh no, Punisher's coming to get you. Now your options are you can write down that you committed a bunch of crimes and go to jail, or I'll just leave. Punisher's unstoppable.
And
Right.
let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, ah! So then, anyway, Punisher and S.H.I.E.L.D. show up. You know, like it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
And S.H.I.E.L.D. is like, oh, good, Hulk, you're here. Hey, listen, could you, like, stop Frank, please? And he's like, no.
That's not really what I do.
Well, I'm not going to even try. In fact, I will impede your officers in their quest to stop him. How about that, asshole?
Why?
Because you guys are jerks to me sometimes.
Because I don't like you.
Because I'm Peter David's Hulk, and I'm kind of an asshole.
But yeah, also you sometimes hunt me down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
Right?
Frank helped me out by threatening to kill that guy
Yeah,
to get
he
him to
gave
do.
me the leverage I needed on that guy.
Right.
Even
But
though
if
I'm
you-
the Hulk.
But it,
All I need to do is be like, oh, I'm just gonna rip your arms off.
Right.
right. Because
Edgy Hulk.
if you had a problem with if you don't want this guy to die.
No.
Which implies that you don't approve of what the Punisher is doing.
Yeah.
But then when Nick Fury asks you to stop the Punisher,
Yeah.
you refuse as if you don't have a problem with
That's
what
right.
he's doing.
Now, that being said, you're absolutely right on all fronts.
Then why didn't you just let the guy die in the first place? If you don't care that Punisher kills people,
exactly.
why did you need this confession? Just let Punisher fucking kill him.
I agree. Well, because Hulk is kind of a fickle bitch. And sometimes Hulk is like, you know what? When Hulk has a threshold.
Right.
Smart Hulk does.
It's like, well, I know this guy.
Right.
I don't want Punisher to kill him.
Well, no. Look, if it's annoying enough, I will let the Punisher kill him.
True.
I'm trying to do the right
If
thing.
he's willing to sign the confession, I don't want Punisher to kill him.
Yeah.
So if he signs it.
But if like Nick Fury shows up and he's like, oh, you gotta stop the Punisher. Punisher's like, oh, my family. And then this guy's like, oh, I'm not gonna do anything. Hulk's like, I'm just gonna leave.
You know what? I don't want any of this.
This is
Yes.
too much of a headache. Here's the thing. You know how I'm always angry? I've always had it up to here with this bullshit.
Yeah. He's just,
I'm just gonna go over there.
I'm just tired, really.
I'm just gonna jump around, jump
Yeah.
across some canyons.
Nah, that's what I used to do.
Punch some
No, I'm gonna
tanks.
go to Florida. I'm gonna bang my wife,
Who's his wife?
Betty Ross.
Oh.
Yeah, General Ross is dead right now. He'll be back, but like right now he's dead. I'm enjoying some like unfettered, non-cop blocking fun times with my wife.
As the Hulk?
Yeah, she can take it.
She's down
Jesus
for that?
Christ.
Yeah, but it's not just that. He's huge.
Yeah, well, she gets on top.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay.
What are we doing?
This is back issues. I don't know if you've been on the show for a while.
He's also green.
What? Well, so She-Hulk's green. She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, she would crush you.
Be worth it. I'm just more adventurous than you
It'll be
guys.
fine. Yeah.
Look, if she kegels too hard, she's gonna rip your dick off.
And she's a lawyer, so
She's
she'll be able
also-
to
she's not
support
an animal.
us. You know, I don't need to go to work.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or we're staying in Avengers Mansion.
Yeah. Or
Hell, I'll
she'll
get some
like
Stark nanobots to
bang
fix
you,
me up.
crush your pelvis, and then be like, "Well, I'm done," and then you're just crippled.
That is a risk. No, I'm not saying it's a without risk.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk
Yeah, you're right.
that you're willing to take on. Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
So we're careening toward the end of this horrible event.
How dare you? It's not done yet. How could you know? So
Well, we're in the Omega issue now.
yeah, that's right. No, it is over. So Frank is plagued by dreams of Fury trying to like kill him or kill his family and stuff.
Right.
Until eventually he is attacked by Nick Fury. He shoots Nick Fury dead, but it's an LMD.
Sure.
Then the LMD, the destroyed LMD, contacts Frank Castle. It's like, hey, listen, this LMD thing is never going to stop. You got to if you want to kill Nick Fury, you're never going to know if you killed Nick Fury. This is a little example for you. You need to destroy all the LMDs of Nick Fury. Thankfully, I know where all those LMDs are kept. It's thankfully, conveniently, it's in a warehouse in the area.
Nick Fury's LMD is telling him this?
Well, no, someone is using...
Someone who programmed the LMD.
Someone's using it like a radio.
a radio. No, they're like talking to him in real time through the LMD that they sent
Someone
to
who wants to get rid of
Castle.
all his LMDs.
Yeah. Well, and that way also we have a plot reason for you to believe that when he does kill Nick Fury, which of course he does,
Right.
that he actually killed the real Nick Fury.
Right, because we established in this book that he got rid of all the
Yes.
life model decoys.
Yes. So
But he
says-
always could have missed one.
which he did. No, Stark made him one. That's actually that's what they say. Like, is that? Oh no, that was an LMD.
But I guess it's also a way to clean up the LMDs. Like, well, there's one more.
yes, and it died when Frank killed it.
Right, so that's it.
So now
No more LMDs.
Now
Until we just say that there are more.
well, now that when Nick Fury comes back, they're like, oh, we'll just start making more.
Right. He
So,
can just
yeah.
make more. Once the Punisher is out of the picture,
Yeah.
or is not trying to kill him, he'll just rebuild the LMD inventory.
Yeah, why wouldn't he?
So there's no point of any of that.
If someone
fact,
knows
what
where
if-
the LMD place is and they have access to bunker busting
Well, they're
bombs,
Shield agents. No, of course, no. It's that woman whose name escapes me. No. The woman who works for Shield. The woman
Oh, the traitor for
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Lockhart.
Lockhart, yeah.
No, it's Lockhart. Lockhart's the traitor.
Right.
She works for Shield.
Right. Was she working with Spook, or is this unrelated treachery?
Sure. They don't say. Doesn't matter.
Was she also paid by that mob family?
No.
Are they even still in the book?
No,
or?
they're not.
Okay.
Scorpio, Nick Fury's son, is completely back to health. He's fine. And he's got a vendetta against Punisher because he's like, you almost killed my dad. You almost killed me. Like,
Right.
I'm going to kill you.
He tried to use me against my dad.
Yep.
It's a whole lot of things he did wrong.
Yeah, so he's now in the book, and Samson's upset because like he got kicked out of the book.
Right.
And so he
Hey,
wants...
I'm still around.
Yep, so they put him in charge. Like, Nick Fury's like, all right, you're going to help as well.
Right.
Meanwhile,
You know
they're
how
like...
Punisher thinks.
Yeah, and they're like, and you need to stay here on this helicarrier. Like, Punisher's coming for you. You need to like put yourself under house arrest. And he's like, nah, I was on the front lines at, like in WW2. Not gonna sit this one out. And so like, no, please. So he does.
Sir, you have to understand, you're more responsible than this, and we need you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're not
Plus,
expendable.
if you're down there, people around you are going to get killed. Like, you're
Yes.
going to put other people in
Wait,
danger.
are you a life model decoy?
me?
You seem really cavalier about this.
No, because the Contessa, who also works for Shield at this point, is gonna stay. She's like, I'll keep an eye on him. So of course she bags him.
If you're that cavalier and I'm expendable, am I a life model decoy?
Right? Probably.
Oh God.
Well, remember,
There's all these
life-
questions.
life model decoys aren't sentient, so they don't even ask those questions.
Right. We just declared that they are.
Yeah, but
except
if-
I would be really worried that maybe they are.
Yeah.
You know, maybe people are wrong, and oh shit, maybe I am one.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Again, how do we know they're not sentient?
Oh, because we said that.
I see.
Because they don't create poetry.
Yeah, exactly. They're not making origamis. So Ghost Rider's tearing shit up, asking where the Punisher is. So he's like bugging these crazy looking like gangsters. When then they get the drop on Ghost Rider, which is of course stupid because he's a friggin' ghost or whatever. Like, he's a demon.
He's a demon.
Like, oh
You
no,
can't
he's
get
gonna
the drop
shoot
on
you. But then Daredevil shows up wearing his old armor, and so he's like, "Hey, Ghost Rider, we should team up." And Ghost Rider's like, "I don't need a sidekick." And Daredevil's like, "Shut the fuck up, Ghost Rider."
You daddy cat.
You know how many books I sell compared to you?
I don't know. Probably not. Probably an indiscernible difference because they're both under Marvel Edge.
Yeah.
But
Depending on
yeah, so then Frank breaks into the warehouse where the LMDs are. He shoots some dudes who are protecting it and then blows it up. Samson tracks down Punisher, but also is too late. Frank has time to write another note with the severed head of the Nick Fury life model decoy. He writes, "No more toys, no more games. The real thing's next." So like, oh no.
Oh no.
Scorpio takes...
How will you know?
Right.
How do you know if it's
Well,
the
no.
real Nick Fury?
Well,
or
because
not?
I
I
was
blew
told
up
that
all
there
the
was only one
LMDs.
place where all
Oh
of them
yeah,
were.
that's all of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Scorpio takes the eye patch off of the LMD severed head and puts it on his own head, indicating to the reader, like, don't worry. Even if we kill Nick Fury, Scorpio can be like Nick Fury Jr. or something.
Oh. So maybe he might die because look, we're setting up his replacement.
Yes.
Great
yes.
intention.
Yeah. So Fury totally bangs the Contessa, and they talk about poetry for a little while.
Proving that they're real.
Exactly. That's how we know.
That's right.
That's right. Fury Jr., Dum Dum Dugan, and Samson are like, just going around tracking down Punisher. There's a little like subplot about how like once they put out an APB on Punisher, they've been getting like Punisher sightings all over the like country. And so they're like, this is useless. Like people don't know what to do with this information.
Right.
It's just a real pain in the ass.
They don't know what he looks like.
Yes.
He's not distinct enough.
So
The
then,
trouble is they're seeing all these assholes wearing Punisher
Yeah, right.
shirts.
It's all these
like,
people.
oh, I
in
found him
shirts.
again.
Yep.
So
Oh, he's a 5-year-old.
exactly. So Punisher shoots a like anti-tank missile at the contingent of like Fury's son, Scorpio, and Dum Dum and
Oh.
Samson. They barely escape with their lives, but Scorpio off panel hurts his eye actually, so he needs the eye patch now.
Okay.
I'm like, but he just put one on.
He put one on, and then coincidentally,
His eyes
he
hurt.
loses an eye or gets
Yeah.
an eye injured. That's
Oh, the patch did nothing to
That's
protect
weird.
my eye.
Meanwhile, Lockhart's feeding information to Castle. So like, Lockhart tells the team like, Castle's going this way, but she's telling Castle that Fury is on the helicarrier.
right.
How is it that it looks like Fury's son is older than him?
Right, because they started to draw him like that now. So they go to Central Park, where Castle seems to have indicated that that's where the showdown's going to be. And he is stopped by Fury Jr., or rather Scorpio and Samson and stuff. They're shooting with tranks, because they're like, we got to trank him. He's not actually in control of himself. So they trank him, and it turns out he's an LMD.
Is it Frank Castle LMD?
We already know we made them.
Right. Yes.
So-
That means it's someone on the inside.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Immediately, the Contessa finds Lockhart telling Frank information. So she's like, "What? Why did you do this? Because you like work with Spook." And she's like, and the lady gets a prize. That's right. So then Contessa just shoots her and she dies.
Oh,
So that's done. Thank you.
that was easy.
Well, that's very easy.
Contessa calls Scorpio and is like, "Hey, we had a mole. It's taken care of. Please go stop Nick Fury from dying." Meanwhile, Daredevil is singling out all the heartbeats in the area of Hell's Kitchen to try and find Frank's, which he does. And then he and Ghost Rider spring into action. Meanwhile, Fury is wandering the streets of Manhattan looking for Frank because he's such a brilliant tactician.
I thought he was going to stay on the helicarrier.
No. He's like, no. He gave some loving to the Contessa, but
then
then
he's
decided like, no, I'm gonna sneak out.
Yeah, no, I'm going
Because
to.
I'm a badass.
Well, I'm going to get out after she's exhausted from all the wonderful sex we just had.
That's right. So Ketch reverts back to Ketch because he's like, I'll be able to get the drop on Frank better if I'm not a flaming ghost man.
Okay.
And so
Didn't Frank see Danny Ketch before he turned into Ghost Rider?
Oh, yeah, that's right. So Ketch is in the alley. He feels someone behind him. He kicks Nick Fury in the dick by accident.
Oops. Fury
Instinctively shoots a trank at Ketch, which tranks Ghost Rider.
That is such a fucking Danny Ketch thing to do.
I know. It's classic Ketch.
That's
I'm going to take myself off the table.
Yep. So now he's down. And Fury's like, oh shit, this stupid kid, my training kicked in. So then Frank Castle sneaks up behind Nick Fury, and Daredevil springs into action and says, Fury, quick, turn around, before he is shot in the back by the Punisher.
Good training, Nick.
Turn around.
Where was your training then?
Why
Yeah.
didn't you throw like a nightstick at him or something?
Now I threw my whole body at him, which is slower than the Belly Club. So he's like, no, I want you to know, I did try to help this man.
Right.
I went, ah! So,
Look out!
so Fury...
What?
Fury, listen to the words I'm telling you right now. Your life is in peril. If you don't, you should catch that.
Quick,
good.
look up here at the noise I'm making so you can't
What?
defend yourself from the shot you're taking in the back.
Okay.
So, Fury is shot. Ketch Ghost Rider's out before he falls asleep.
Oh, that's good. Is he?
Does the Ghost Rider like burn the trank out of him?
Is that like a power he has? Like if he's about to get knocked out, like
Punisher, Ghost Rider.
you can't trank him.
You can't unless
It's like the Hulk.
like a super
if
trank.
you shoot the Hulk in the head, like he turns into. If you shoot Banner in the head, he turns into Hulk before
Yes.
he dies.
That's
Same
right,
thing
that's
with fucking Ghost Rider. Okay.
Yep. So before Nick Fury dies, he tranks Frank. So then Ghost Rider burns the programming out of Punisher, so he's back to normal again.
Okay.
I didn't realize that was possible.
Yeah, no, Ghost Rider said he could do it.
It's one of his powers.
Yep.
It's
Does
a
that mean if you
derivation
get
of the
like
Penance Stare.
hypnosis or like, you go through a program to like, get rid of alcoholism or quit smoking,
Yeah.
and
Penance-
Ghost Rider penance stares you,
Yeah.
you just fall right back in your old habits?
Maybe.
But I think if Ghost Rider Penance Stares you, like that's the least of your problems.
That's true. So Matt tells everybody that he's dead when S.H.I.E.L.D. springs into action to save him, and so they wheel Fury out of there.
Shouldn't the penance
Right.
stare like really fuck Frank up?
Yeah.
Like, he's killed a lot of people.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
I held it back a little bit,
Well-
so I didn't do the full penance stare on him. I just did
And
the
not only that, but like I'm penance staring the like regressed Frank. So he's
right.
only
Real
done a
Frank's not
few-
even going to remember that he was penance stared.
He still murdered a lot of people in this book.
I know. That ends. And then they're like, hey, check out all these other books coming out from Marvel Edge.
So at the end of this book, they're like, "There's going to be a new Nick Fury."
Maybe. And then there kind of isn't.
Yeah.
And then in the new Punisher series, Scorpio's like, I'm going to kill the Punisher because Punisher's back. And his recklessness gets him kicked off of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Huh.
So they're setting up like, hey, first issue, Punisher is going to prison and he's going to get the chair for killing Nick Fury. And he does.
They electrocute him.
Yeah.
What happens?
Well,
He turns into the Shocker. But like, from the movie.
right. He, that is to say the Punisher, is carted off to another mob family that is not the Carbones. Because
We forgot about the Carbones.
other mob family manipulates things to get the Punisher. And so they use like a lower grade electricity and paid off the doctor that pronounces him dead and stuff. So they just quietly disappear the Punisher and bring him into the fold of their mafia family. Because this old mafioso who's like, yeah, you've killed members of my family and stuff. I'm
going to use you as a tool.
I need you to run my family for me.
What? No, it's I need you to get rid of the other families.
Nope. I want you to run my family for me. Because like I needed a successor and I don't have any. So like
would he
why don't
do
you
that?
run my family? And he's like, okay. And not like because I'll kill you secretly.
What?
No, it's like, well, you can run your like murderous empire easier if you're also doing it, from within.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So Frank like
I mean, that's true if Frank could also like recruit people.
yeah, but he doesn't.
Exactly. He doesn't.
No, but he uses the like goons to do things
To
for
go
him.
like kill other goons that he was going to kill himself, I guess, on
Yeah.
other families.
Yeah, that's right.
And does he do it because they're expendable? Like, you're bad anyway, so if
No.
you die on the mission...
No, he's no.
He's like, I'm in charge of your family, and I'm gonna
Run the mafia family.
Is he still somehow brainwashed?
No, he's
Is
just an
his
idiot.
plan to use this family to kill all the other families, and then when he's done, he'll kill everyone in this
I
family
mean, like
also?
that would make sense, but like that doesn't happen. But he does inevitably.
How does he
stop.
explain it to the reader why he's doing this in plot?
It's very flimsy.
yeah.
Yeah.
He just does.
Right.
He's just like, yeah, I guess I'll do this now.
Yeah, I guess I'll be the lead of a crime family.
Yeah, but like, we'll be a crime family for justice.
Right.
So
Kind of like fucking.
I mean-
Matt Murdock taking over the hand, and like,
yeah,
I'm
or
gonna
Red
do
Hood
it-
taking over gangs.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
I'm gonna do it right.
yes, that
I'm gonna. Does he
Or
like,
the
get,
Punisher taking over the hand.
right.
Yeah. Does he get them out of crime? Is he like, we're not doing crime anymore? Or do they
mean-
continue to do their criminal stuff and he just
I
looks the
mean,
other
technically,
way?
they're always doing crime if they're killing people.
Yeah, I've
Well,
only
yeah, I mean,
read
other crimes.
I've only
Crimes
read like
that hurt innocent
intermittent
people.
issues of this like very short period
Yeah,
of
okay.
Ostrander's run.
Right.
But yeah,
I'm sure there's some line about, we're not selling drugs anymore,
Right.
and we're not, like, gambling anymore. Or maybe you can gamble, I don't care.
Yeah.
But, we're not killing innocent people or shaking them
Right.
down anymore.
Yeah.
But we will engage in mob wars.
maybe it's very flimsy, and then it all falls apart until inevitably he's like, fuck it, I'm Punisher again, and he is still Punishering out. Like he still puts on his Punisher costume and goes and does Punisher stuff.
He's still moonlighting as Punisher.
Yes.
Okay.
And eventually he's like, wait, I'll just wear my Punisher uniform when I go to like meetings and stuff. That way it scares the other mafia guys into knowing that like the Punisher's in charge.
Right. Okay.
So then the whole thing gets like a little like post-credits scene,
Yeah.
which we actually covered on an episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which of course works in an Incredible Hulk book because blow me. And so a bunch of characters go to Nick Fury's funeral, including the Howling Commandos, who are like, Nick Fury's dead, huh? Yeah, we've all died like 6 times.
Right.
And like Black Widow's there, she's like over the coffin, and she's like, oh my god, how could you be so callous? Like, how could you, of all people,
Actually believe
he's
this?
dead? And then Wolverine like goes over the casket and he's like, oh man. And they're like, whoa, Wolverine, he has like amazing senses. Oh, maybe he really is dead. Oh no, he isn't. Iron Man goes to the funeral. Iron Man built the LMD that Nick Fury uses to fake his own death. And he's like, oh, he's dead. Because they didn't know
Because they didn't know.
what the retcon was going to be.
Right.
Bill Clinton goes to the funeral.
What the fuck?
I mean, it's Nick Fury. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is the death of Nick Fury.
Yeah.
This is like, Marvel's like, we killed Nick
We
Fury.
killed
Oh
Nick
yeah,
Fury.
he's dead.
He's
the
dead.
Punisher killed him.
Yes, that.
Yeah, in The Edge, he went over the edge and killed a main character.
Thank you. Yep. That's, I mean, that is the masthead.
The lie.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not edgy. He doesn't kill Nick Fury. He doesn't even die.
Remove and flatten poster of best defocus your eyes and gaze through the poster. Yeah, it's
Oh,
a magic
it's a magic eye.
That's it. Okay.
But it's hard because there's a crease in the middle. They're not really supposed to.
We'll just look at one page then.
That's probably not going to work. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I see it. Yeah. It's a really bad one though. It's really.
So the issue is basically Hulk feels bad that he like let Nick Fury die, basically.
Yeah.
So he decides to
Even
try
though
to
he
go,
said he was going to do it the whole time.
Yeah. So he goes to the funeral and he's attacked by like Avengers who are like there to run security for the funeral to make sure no superhero fight happens. And then they facilitate a superhero fight until Bill Clinton shows up and tells everybody to calm down. And then the Hulk is like, how can I help your next campaign? And
What?
Bill Clinton says, endorse the GOP, and then leaves.
You're a pariah, so you can't.
Yeah. So then the book is over, and you're like, what?
What the crap was that?
Yeah,
that
but
is weird.
I can't
Yeah.
believe this came out of that.
I
That's
know.
amazing.
That's just like someone else was like, can you write the fucking
Oh, that
funeral
was.
book?
They told Peter David, like, just can you do
Oh,
the?
yeah,
Can you do
Peter
the?
did, yeah.
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 Can you do this, please? And he's like, yeah.
and put Bill Clinton in it.
Well, he chose.
By the way, I'm sorry.
It's like, what's going on right now?
Why does
Clinton's
Contessa
president.
also have white streaks in her hair? Why does everyone related to Nick Fury, whether they're blood relations or not,
So
have white streaks?
I was going to ask
Yeah.
this question: is she old?
She is not old. She just has a, that thing, that pigment thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because she looks young here.
Yeah.
But then on the first page,
She looks a little older.
well, there's like these wrinkles in her.
No,
boobs?
it's just
Okay.
it's just shading. It's faux shading
Yeah.
to try and indicate bigger boobage.
Right. I see. They are huge. She's in a nightgown, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
no, they're just
yeah,
leaves nothing to imagination.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And
So-
that's a useless, stupid issue.
I know. No, well, they all are. But,
All of this is useless and stupid.
That's such a horrible way to do a funeral for Nick Fury.
I know.
That's like
well, it's just because
tell me you have no respect for the character without telling me you have no respect
Well,
for the
well,
Well,
character.
let's have all the characters fight.
it's Peter David. He's like, this is a gimmick. This is stupid.
Right. This
he's,
isn't
he's not even
anything.
dead.
I'm not gonna take it serious.
That's why he has the Howling Commandos like laugh at everybody.
Yeah.
But then they were like, hey, don't make it funny.
No, he's really
And, like,
dead.
he's really dead. And they're like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, so then that's why they have Wolverine there. So they can go like, oh my god, he thinks he's dead too.
Oh my God, it's real.
Well, it's real.
Well, he would know.
Yeah. So it ends with them being like, that's really sad. And you're like, no. And it's also like, it's Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, 1994.
He doesn't even have his own book. It's not even like it's got stakes. It's just like,
I would
oh
imagine
no.
a significant portion of the readers are like, oh, who's Nick Fury again? I vaguely
yeah.
know a little bit about him.
I imagine they know Nick Fury,
But they're like,
but they're like,
So?
so he's the agent, he's the head of S.H.I.E.L.D. They'll just put somebody new in charge.
yeah, they even literally have a spare.
He doesn't have powers.
Yeah. No.
Nope.
There's no book called Fury.
He
Nope,
shows up in
not
other
yet.
people's books sometimes and does shit. And
Yeah.
I guess once upon a time he had a book
Kind of.
in the before time.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So there you go. Over the Edge. It's not collected anywhere. I'm
I mean,
pretty
I'm
sure it
kind
is.
of glad it's not collected. This is weird.
There'd be no point in collecting it. If you're going to do it, make an omnibus of Over the Edge, where like is this and all the issues of the Over the Edge series.
Which don't have any run. Like, it's not
No.
like they connect with others, except for these first 6.
Yes, well, but there is, you can get Over the Edge 1 through like 12 or whatever. But, you know, they only feature different characters. And it's not like it's an event 2.
Right.
This is the event. And it blows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
100%.
Sorry.
I guess I was like, why is the Contessa even in this? And I guess it's like so you can be more sad when
Well,
Fury dies.
yeah,
It's
because like
oh, there's someone to mourn him.
someone will miss him.
Oh,
Not just his replaceable son.
So what
Yeah,
he
Scorpio.
just had sex with, as far as you know, wasn't in a relationship with her before that. But in that book,
Well, no, they always have.
okay.
how about it's so that when Scorpio gets his eye patch from injuring his eye,
Yeah.
Contessa can just love him. It's not that she loved Nick Fury. She loved the eye patch.
Just loves that eye patch. No, they kick him out of S.H.I.E.L.D. after like a couple issues of Punisher, and then someone unceremoniously kills him in like a secret Secret Warriors book. Like,
Did they kill Scorpio?
yeah, but like much later, like over a decade later. They're like, nah.
Okay, good. I'd love it if like Fury dies.
Yeah.
They kill his son, and Fury's like, I'm back. I was life bottle decoy.
Yeah.
Anyway, where's my kid?
Yeah, I mean that would be pretty sad. That's a good idea. That's not a bad idea. Even still, this was. So
Yeah.
there you have it. They're not all gonna be winners, but they are a representative of a bad time when like things were screwed up and terrible. Oh, of course, the 5 editors-in-chief doesn't work out
Naturally.
immediately.
Clearly.
And then one editor-in-chief emerges, and it ain't Bobby Chase. In fact, Bobby Chase, one of the 5 editors-in-chief, is the only time there was a female editor-in-chief at Marvel. Is when they had 4 identical editors-in-chief who had the exact same level of power as she did.
Yeah,
How
sounds about
progressive.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't even really count, does it?
No, but it is technically true. See you next week.
Sorry.
It's really, yeah. There's too much detail.
Is it because the crease doesn't work?
The crease really fucks it up. If you focus on one side or the other, you can kind of see it. But there's overlapping images of different characters and shit, so it's like it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Man, remember Magica?
Yeah. I'm surprised they don't make them anymore.
Well, it was kind of a gimmick.
Yeah.
For there was a series of Magic Eye books, and I remember in bookstores had them all the time.
Yeah.
And they had a big poster with the Magic Eye, and then you get the book. And there was a few of them, and I had a few.
Yeah.
And then 2 or 3 years later, everyone was
done.
like, "Okay, well, it's not really that interesting."
Well,
Yeah, this is not great.
the 2000s are here, and now we're done looking at things recreationally.
Yeah, well,
there's Scorpion.
Well, it's like you can't. There's no detail. It's
No.
just the only thing is it's an image that comes off
Yeah,
of
it's
a background. You can't see detail or color or
I know.
anything in it. So
Yeah.
it's like
And usually, like,
parlor trick.
there
Yeah,
are shapes, like, inside the Magic Eye, there's usually something where, like,
Yes.
there's a shape, so it helps
It helps to
things
align
pop out.
it,
This
yeah.
is just static.
Yeah.
it's just
I know.
it's really
This is-
hard.
this is
No
terrible.
fun. There's no fun like
That
colors
one-
or anything.
Yeah, that one's really tough.
Yeah.